Baruch Ata Asherah, Anat Malecha Ha'olam, Asher Kedishani Mitzvotav, V'tzivani Lehitativ Latzitzit. Good morning. How are you all doing today? Today is February 2nd. It is Imbolc. The turning point of the season. The inflection point. It's not when the season changes, it's when the rate of change of the season changes. Something like that. It's still getting colder, but now the rate at which it is getting colder is slowing down. Until in another month or two, the rate at which it is getting colder will drop to 0, and then it will remain the same temperature for a month. And then the rate at which it is getting colder will go into the negatives, and it will start getting warmer. Because that's how seasons work, did you know? Sorry, maybe that is a little pedantic. I live in New York, Natalie. What state are you from? Good morning, Julianne. How are you? So nice to see you. So today we are going to say the Shema and the Vahafta, and then we are going to read from the Dream of Dumuzi and see if he can manage to evade the Gala demons once more. Maybe by turning his hands and feet into some other kind of animal creature. And then we'll say Arati and then Kaddish, as one does. Good morning, Batya. Videos anytime soon? No, my friend, just this live stream. Sorry to say. I'm still working hard on my thesis, and it is very slow progress. I will start videos again in June or July, probably, is when I will start posting videos again. So please be patient with me. Batya, how are you doing today? Shall we start with the Shema? Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et Anat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודייך וחיוך הדברים Elohim Haile Asher Noachim Mitzavcha Hayom Al Levavecha V'shinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Bam B'shivtecha B'vitecha Uvlechtecha Chavaderch Uvshachbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Le'ohot Al Yadecha Avichayu Letotafot B'neinecha Uchtavtaham Al Mizuzot Beitecha Uvihisharecha Vichaya Ki Viachaya Elohecha El Ha'arz Asher Nispai Levatecha Le'avram Nizkach Ol Yaakov Latet Lach Avrim Gedolot V'davot Asher Lo Vanita Uvatim Mili'im Kol Tova Asher Lemilata Uverot Atzuvim Asher La'asat V'karim V'zitim Asher L'natata Ve'alachta V'shavata Yishamer Lechapen Tishchach Et Yoreh Asher Tishacha Me'eretz Mitzrayim Mibet Avadim. Batya, can I ask you a liturgical question? About that last part, those words that I don't have a melody for because I memorized them directly out of the book of Deuteronomy. I never heard them in synagogue. Those words, were they built into the liturgy at your synagogue, or was it something else? Was it a line from the book of Numbers? Because in the synagogue that I grew up in, after the Vahafta melody came another short bit of music with a quote that basically says the same thing: "Remember Yahweh who brought you from the land of Egypt," but without the references to theft. It's a quote from the book of Numbers rather than the contiguous lines that are in the book of Deuteronomy, Shema Vahafta, houses that you did not build, hewn cisterns that you did not hew. And I find that changed in the liturgy, or that concatenation of liturgical elements, at least in American conservative Judaism, fascinating. I wonder what it was like in the tradition that you grew up in. So, this is the wrong book. I don't want to pray to my maker, no, no. I just want to be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun. Hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray. We don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asherah made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made me. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? Good morning, Katie. Thank you. It's a tricky one for me to try to do. And one of the reasons why I'm getting facial surgery is that this part here, it's hard to make the eyeliners go in the right direction. I often try to make it look like this, and it does not succeed. But it looks pretty good today. I'm doing well. How are you doing? How is your morning going? So, today, good morning, Kimmy. How are you doing? Welcome, all my friends. You're just in time for a story. We were reading yesterday about the dream of Dumuzi. So we left off at the end of the last chapter, right? Inanna returns from the land of the dead, and some dumpsters will give you nothing. In fact, most dumpsters will give you nothing. Coffee and fireplace so far. That sounds nice. Basically what I've been doing. Anyway, Inanna came from the land of the dead, and she had to trade with someone, and so she says, I'll trade with Dumuzi. He sent him to the land of the dead, and then the Gala demon go chasing after him, and he has this terrible dream, prophetic dream, that he tells to his sister, and his sister's like, don't tell me that dream's fucking traumatic. You're gonna die. And he runs from the Gala, and he turns his arms and legs into snakes, and he keeps running, and he turns his arms and legs into gazelle hooves, because his friend betrays him, like all this terrible stuff, and he's running from the Gala demons. And he fled to Old Beleli. Let's read what happens next. There's a certain kind of dumpster that tends to work best, like a middling-sized grocery store. And if you go to a grocery store that is too large, they will have trash compactors. And if you go to a grocery store that is too small, they won't have dumpsters, right? So you have to find mid-sized grocery stores, and there are certain franchises, depending on what part of the country you're in, that like fill that like mid-sized grocery store niche. But like you have to do reconnaissance, basically. Yeah. Dumuzi escaped from his demons and fled to Old Beleli. So the Gala said, we'll go to Old Beleli. And Dumuzi came into Old Beleli's house and said to her, Know, ancient woman, that I am not just another mortal. Rather, I am the goddess Inanna's husband. Thus pour out water that I might drink, and shake some flour that I might eat. And when the aged woman had poured water and shaken flour for Dumuzi, she went from the house. The Gala observed her go and then came into the house. But Dumuzi fled away from his demons, and he went to the sheep farm of Geshtinana, his sister. And Geshtinana wept when she saw Dumuzi at her sheep farm, and her mouth was as high as heaven, and her mouth went as low as earth. Big mouth. Her mouth went as high as heaven, her mouth went as low as the earth. I think that's a metaphor for grief. Her sorrow spread out the far horizon like an Afghan. She scratched at her eyes and her mouth and her thighs, and the Gala came over the reed fence, and the first Gala hit Dumuzi on the cheek with a sharp nail, and the second Gala hit Dumuzi's other cheek with a crook, and the third Gala broke the churn's base, and the fourth Gala knocked the drinking cup from its hook, and the fifth Gala broke the churn into bits, and the sixth Gala broke the cups into bits, while the seventh Gala called to him, Dumuzi, husband of Inanna, son of Surtur, arise. Brother of Geshtinana, arise from your feigned slumber. Your ewes have been taken, your lambs have been taken, your goats have been taken, your kids have been taken. Strip from your head the holy crown, strip from your body the godly robes of the divine arts. Allow your regal rod to slip to the floor, strip from your feet the sacred sandals. You will come with us wholly unclothed. What is this you have to strip to go to the land of the dead? What is that? Then Gala encircled Dumuzi and grabbed hold of him, binding his hands and clamping his neck. Idle sits the churn, unfilled the milk urn. The cup is broken, Dumuzi is forsaken, and the sheep farm lost to the winds. Yeah, I think so. You return the way you came into the world. I think we will leave off there. Dumuzi has been taken by the Gala demons and dragged down into the land of the dead. What will happen next? Crawl back in, kiddo. Stories about life and death. I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. Right? Our religions have been making that promise for thousands of years. Sarah, you have clearly spent some time in dumpsters. That is some very thorough advice. It's not exactly the advice that I give people, but I think the dumpsters in New York are probably different demographically distributed than the dumpsters in Arkansas. Or even in California. I mean, that is unsurprising, right? Those are the videos that people find me through. I have the largest reach for whatever reason. Like, I worry sometimes that for the rest of my life I will just be known as that dumpster girl. I mean, like, there are worse reputations to have. But I haven't been dumpstering in months. I haven't been dumpstering since my students left. It's not that I haven't had the opportunities. Like, it used to be like whenever I drove into a place, whenever I drove by a dumpster where I knew there was good food, I would go. Because, like, it felt worth it. Like, the $1 per hour of dumpstering felt worth it because I didn't have as many other responsibilities. It's like, well, I can just get so much food if I spend 3 hours cleaning it. But I don't want to spend 3 hours cleaning dumpster food right now. Like, I want to finish this fucking thesis. And it's weird how that changes your priorities. Like, I just don't do things, like certain kinds of work that I used to do, like make films. So it goes. And also, like, the way that I make money has changed. Like, I have jobs now that have $1 per hour that is comparable or better than the dumpster, and so the dumpster doesn't feel worth my time anymore, which is, like, sad. But it's also like I'm not feeding large quantities of people. Like, when I had students, we went dumpstering regularly because it was an important way to supplement the food that we were feeding them. Like, otherwise I wouldn't be able to afford enough fruit to like, I like having abundant fruit. All right, blah blah blah. Dumpsters. Like, when I was younger, it was this revelation of, like, oh my god, I can feed a house with no money, right? Like, oh, I can live in a house with 16 people and I can just feed them. Like, wow. That's true, right? There are old versions of me that are dumpstering. Yeah, the food system that I live in now is such that, like, dumpstering is less, it doesn't feel as efficient or as an enticing way to spend my time, and that makes me a little bit sad, but I don't know, I've been doing it for like 15 years. I don't have to dumpster with the frequency that I did when I was 22. It's okay. God gives food. Yeah, like, that is something that I miss. Like, when I was dumpstering a lot, I would very frequently have large quantities of food in my car at any given time. And I was, like, more when I was living in more urban areas. Like, when I lived in Boston, like, I am saddened when I don't have food to give people that are panhandling. Because I definitely don't have money to give them. But sometimes I can, here's a bag of oranges. Take it. Enjoy. I'm doing well, Courtney. How are you? I mean, it's also hard to dumpster for people without kitchens, right? Like, there's only so much food that is, like, comes directly out of a dumpster and is accessible to someone without a house. Like, much of it, the majority of it, you need to process it. And most homeless folks can't do that. Bag of oranges they can do. Where do you store raw chicken? In my chest freezer? Yeah. Exactly. It's certainly a lifestyle. So, let's say Arati, shall we? Let's say Arati. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Sri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sitarama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Trimutri Vatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunatha Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Shyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayappa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Grave Moses Grave Buddha Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Grave Guru Nanak Grave Samastya Grubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala.
That's a long prayer.
Yeah, you're very distracting.
I see that. I just came in to get my hat.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I stayed for the picture.
You did?
Like you too.
They're pretty great, aren't they? Natatra Siyobati Natanjakara Tamnima Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Twame Bhavantam Vandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Bhavanti Om Gange Kayamane Gai Vargovari Saraswati Narmade Srikaveri Namastitam Namo Namaha Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Bandhushasaka Twameva Vidya Javinam Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Kayena Vacha Manasandriyarva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Sabhavad Kayomi Adyad Sakalam Rasmahi Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Sarvadharmam Pravichayama Mikam Sarvanam Vrija Aham Sva Sarva Papayo Mukshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you. You behind the screen, somehow you're here, beams of light. You're worth it. So, I believe you. I'm pretty sure you're real. You've given me sufficient evidence. Most people don't give me sufficient evidence, and sometimes I, legitimately wonder if they're robots, and, sometimes they probably are. Because that is the world we live in, where some portion of my discourse is literally with computers. But you're real. I believe you. I converse with computers and multinational corporations and strange insurance conglomerates, and they all have particular ways of seeing the world. Yeah, when I met you, I thought you were a troll. Like I was sure you were a troll. What a name. But so I have this practice with a friend of mine from college that I wrote a cookbook with. Where every day, like, I keep a journal with her, basically. Like, I send her my day every day. I made a video about it. Did I make a video about... No, I just made a video with Dana. I didn't make a video about days. I should make a video about days. Anyway, for the last, like, 12 years, I've been sending, like, 5 or 6 sentences about my previous day every morning to my friend. And I wrote about you yesterday, and I had to call you Buttflaky because I have too many other friends named Sarah. Like, and so if I was just to reference another Sarah and the conversation I had with you, then, like, if I were to go back and read that journal, like, in 8 years or whatever, I would legitimately not know which Sarah it was. So I had to call you Buttflakes, and, like, so it goes. You give yourself a name and you must live with it. For you will be remembered by your butt flakes. So, we should say Kaddish. Kaddish to remember those who came before, who are no longer here with us. So we grieve for them, because that's what life is. You come into existence and then you go out from existence. Everyone does it. Whether they're a bacteria or a multinational corporation, whatever kind of subjectivity they have, whether they look and sound like a human or a slime mold, right? No matter how they are aware or how they live or what they experience, they all experience death. And that loss, right, it's built into the fabric of what it means to be in this reality, is to have the possibility of not being in it. So we grieve them, and we grieve the existence of death as a thing, right? We grieve it, and we cannot not accept it, right? If there were no death, there would not be the ability to grieve. Is so is. I'm glad, Miss Priss. Welcome. So we say Kaddish for death, because I believe, at least. People ask me what I believe, and I'm always like, I don't believe anything. Like, yeah, there's some, like, angry man on the top of a mountain yelling things about sexual impropriety to me, and I have to, like, worship him. Yeah, okay. Like, I don't really believe anything. But I believe that, like, the way to live life is to orient it around your own death, right? Like, to recognize them as the same thing. Cover thy ankles. Yes, I'm not here to cover my ankles. But I am here to understand what it is like to be here, and I think that means to try my best to understand what it would be like to not have the ability to understand anything at all. Right? What would nothingness and absolution look like? Feel like? It'd feel like nothing. Okay, fuck. How do I okay. So we say Kaddish, right? To try to vividly imagine the thing that is by definition unimaginable. And we say it in strange words that can come to mean anything. Old words that can come to mean anything. Yidgadal v'yidgadash Shema Rabbah B'yama divrachyote v'yamlich malchute B'chaychol v'yamechon v'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael B'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shema Rabbah mevarach li'olam Olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yirmam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shema dekudesha b'rechu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata tush berchata v'nechimata D'yamiran v'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah Amin Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'imramav Huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oh, say shalom bimramav. Uya say shalom aleinu. V'ya lechol Yisrael. V'imru, v'imru. Amen. Thanks. You know, Sarah, I tried that. Like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Like, around the time that I started the Discord server. Like, it used to be that I would have breakfast at the end of the stream, like, basically every morning. Like, my patterns were different. Like, I was shifted a little bit earlier. My kitchen had less people in it, or more people in it, so, like, it made more sense to eat rice every day. In any case, I started doing a thing, like, I was trying to figure out how to build community online, and, like, I have a number of, like, fairly embarrassing, false starts. So when I started the Discord server, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months after that, I monetized it on Patreon, and I tried to do a thing of, like, oh, well, if you're a patron, then we can hang out on Discord. And, like, so I would shift from, like, being on TikTok to being on Discord, and we would eat, and there would be, like, more, like, more talking time. If I figured out I'm a genius, I mean, I've spent my entire life trying. Right, and I have, another good 30 years, 40 years, maybe 50 years even, if I'm lucky, to keep trying. Yeah, so, like, there was a time that we were doing, like, breakfast on Discord. Like, it was fun, but it gave me a lot of anxiety, because it's really hard to, like, you bring in a bunch of people into a room and they don't know each other, and you want to get them to participate, and then, but, like, how do you, like, cultivate a conversation, or, like, curate or something? Like, Sarah, I really appreciate the way that you are on that server, because you just, like, you hold your own fucking conversations. Right? Like, you just, like, say interesting things and I can respond. It's like, oh, right. Like, yeah. It's just, it's impossible to like, predefine how these things work. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, like, what am I trying to say? When I transitioned, I started spending a lot, like, early in my transition when I was feminizing my voice, I started spending a lot of time, on this trans voice server, that my friend Z runs. And, like, God, it was so cool. Like, it was this, like, super vibrant learning space of all of these girls trying to learn how to talk like girls. um, and it was wild. And it was also, like, right at the height of the pandemic, too, so, everybody was, like, on their computer all the time and, like, looking for internet friends. So it was a very particular time. But it gave me, like, gave me a view into, like, oh, what is possible on that platform? Like, what is it possible to do to, like, create social space that is actually nourishing and helps people become the kind of people that they want to be? And that's always what I've been trying to do, but I don't know how to do that. Like, it's really fucking hard. So, and it's just, like, it's slow, but eventually you meet people and things develop on their own. So, yeah, maybe we'll bring back coffee time one of these days. Like, if I can do TikTok full time again, right? Like, I've had periods of my life where I can be on TikTok full time, and that's when my audience grows, because it takes, like, so much effort to make, enough videos that some of them will get enough traction so that you'll find new people. And, like, right now I just hang out with people that I met a while ago, and, like, that's great. Like, I love you all. I mean, yeah, full time on TikTok is, like, it's really fucking stressful, and it's emotionally exhausting, because, like, you have to learn to communicate with an algorithm. Like I said, like, I spent a lot of time communicating with robots. Like, that's what I meant, right? Like, to actually get traction on this platform, you have to, like, empathize with a robot in the ether that some Chinese programmers made. Right? That, like, politicians are arguing about how it works, and you have to figure out how to empathize with it and make stuff that it likes. Like, it's wild. But I will return to TikTok full time, because, like, I want to be on the internet. I want to meet more of you. I want to have coffee time with you all, but, like, it just takes a certain amount of effort. So one day, it's a game. Yeah, it's a wild game. And some people are better at it than I am, and then I feel jealous. But yeah, I would love to hang out with you all more than just 20 minutes a day. And but figuring out how to effectively socialize on Discord is challenging. Like it's a totally different environment for most people, and it takes a certain kind of energy, and collective energy too. Like there needs to be enough people online such that if any one person wants to go there to have a conversation because they're feeling lonely or they need they need something from someone, they can go and get it immediately, and that requires a critical mass of people to offer that kind of social support. So server goals, I suppose. Right? I'd like it to feel more like a place. That would be nice. Okay. So it's almost 10 o'clock. I have to go. It's Rachel's birthday, so we're gonna go climb up a mountain. Maybe I'll post I can post a TikTok story, right? Is that what they're called? Still called stories? I can post a 2-second thing from the top of the mountain. Oh, that sounds like a good way of being a social media person. Yeah, we all need friends. Okay. I'll talk to you all later. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a really lovely day, friends.